Welcome everyone. Welcome to another Transformers toy review. This is the second in my series of the kind of blast from the past retro toy reviews. I missed last Friday just because I think there was quite a few other reviews that had come in, so I wanted to take a look at Megatron and Grimlock. So I managed to get those guys out. I had started on the review for this guy. This is Beast Wars Neo Longrack. Is Maximal, so one of the good guys. And actually, you know, I've been playing around this guy while also looking at some of the Kingdom figures, and he actually fits in surprisingly well. You know, I've got him on display currently with my other Maximals, just to bring in kind of Cheetor here, and he actually they look actually pretty well together on display. You know, and it kind of scales all right. I mean, here's Megatron. Has a bit of a size comparison. Obviously, Longrack is a good deal taller, but and Longrack isn't quite as out, you know, sort of long that way. But yeah, I think he scales quite well, and you know, because I picked this guy up new. He does fit in quite well with all the figures, and his articulation isn't bad either. Quite a unique character, this one. I had to do a bit of research looking up, you know, what the character was about, because the Neo line is kind of like a Japanese line, so you know, there isn't a great deal of stuff we would have seen from in kind of US or UK kind of comics or cartoons. So he was a character that featured in the Beast Wars Neo cartoon. From what I gather, he sounds like a bit of a Ultra Magnus kind of brainstorm character, in terms of he's a real kind of stickler for the rules and kind of a little bit annoying in that respect. A bit like Ultra Magnus, I suppose. But also they said that he's like into kind of inventions and things like that. So that's where I got the kind of brainstorm element from it. So a bit of that aspect from it. But he's one of the, I think he's one of the sub-commanders made by Leo Convoy, he said, on the ship Gung Ho, believe it or not, which is quite funny. Yeah, so, you know, that's pretty much, I mean, you can see all here, look at all the details on like Wikipedia and stuff like that. It's got all the details on there, but it's quite fun sounding character. In beast mode, he's obviously a giraffe. Quite a cool looking giraffe. There's some nice paint going on with these sort of brown sort of patches for his kind of, this kind of giraffe pattern, which looks really nice. He's got missiles in here in his knees, so I've got them stored in here, but you just have to be careful. If you do have this figure, they're triggered off by these here, so I'd imagine they're quite easily lost. You can obviously display them without them, but it kind of just fills in that gap down here. I mean, in terms of articulation, he's a little bit limited in this mode, but these front legs can still move forward and back. You don't get any outward motion, but they can go all the way back into there. These legs can go forward and back to a certain degree, and then again these bits move forward and back as well. So you can get a bit of posing with this guy, and the tail's on a ball joint, so that moves up and down and can also move from side to side. The see, I keep pressing that. The head here is, you can move this top piece here, so it moves up and down, and it's got this weird thing with the tongue, so the tongue is sticking out at the moment, and then you push it in and it kind of gets rid of the white in the eyes. But I'm not sure if it feels like it's supposed to click in and stay in that position, but I can never get mine to do that. It feels like there's a little notch where it clicks in. I think this bit here is for this claw bit underneath here. See, I keep shooting those out. So you just have to be wary while doing that you're not going to shoot those out. But it's a pretty cool looking beast mode. Again, paint around the face here. The eyes are painted. All across here is painted. And down here. So, and you know, this figure's a few years old now. Was it late 90s, I guess? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's obviously, when you get into robot mode, there's an element of bits everywhere, but I think it comes out all right. We're going to attempt to transform it. I've transformed it once, going from robot to giraffe, so we'll attempt it the other way. It does have a vehicle mode, which I'll show you. It's a little bit naff. A lot of these Beast Wars figures from this line had like a third mode. Some of them had like almost like a dead animal mode, where, you know, say if it was a dinosaur, it had a mode where it led on its side and you opened kind of like the side up, so it looked as if, you know, it'd been eaten and things like that, or tongue out where it looked dead or something like that. So yeah, it's a few different things. So I'm going to actually pop these missiles out because I'm worried I'm going to lose them. So I'm going to do that. Just pop these out here. The hooves as well are painted. So that's nice. And the plastic's got a nice kind of finish to it. Right, let's try and remember. So these bits you want to kind of unplug. So it should be fairly easy because a lot of this stuff you just kind of have to unplug. From here. This piece here, because all of these bits kind of plug into each other. Just gonna unplug these pieces here, he says. So just pull this bit up and just kind of pull these bits out. And you see his hand is underneath there. Oh, I've just pulled his arm off. So you can pop that back on. But that's where one of the arms are. These are going to be the legs. So you kind of fold these down and kind of move the giraffe foot into that piece there. So do it again here. Just bring it down here. Push that bit into there. And that is kind of like the legs. I'll try and move the camera down slightly so you can see what's going on. So this bit here, I think moves out. So it's like this bit here is going to be one of the arms, and this bit here is one of the arms. So it's kind of a case of kind of maneuvering everything so it's out of the way. Now these bits here, they actually rotate back around and cover up the chest like that. So move this one out of the way, and you can see he's got this maximal spark thing in here, which all of these ones had. It's a real neat feature. So the Maximals had this red kind of like marble glass, well, it's plastic, but the effect was there. So you can see like the Maximal symbol in there. So that was kind of like their reveal the shield type thing. And this bit here, push that off again, go around here. This should open up and reveal the head, which will fold out. And there's an awesome looking head sculpt on this guy. Look at that, really cool. And then this piece here, I think, I'm not going to worry about that arm for the time being. I'm just going to rotate this around. That's right. Rotate it around. So this should come underneath here at some point. So I probably need to move that back around again. All the way around he goes, like that. And then move this round, then plug that into there like so. And then you kind of got the basics of it like that. You're going to move this round so you got that bit facing forward, and this piece up like that. There you've got his hand in here and his claw in there. I think you can also hold guns as well. So a couple of the figures in this line, I think there's a rabbit which is called Stampy, I think, and there's another one, he might transform into like a penguin or something like that, which can transform into a gun. So those are ones to look out for. So I'll see if I can pick those out. Just this piece here will come up and just kind of come into the back. So it's a bit of a backpack, I know, but comes into there, just fills into that gap there. You can have them pegged together, I think, if you want, but you don't need to. Just have them loose like that. These side pieces kind of come over here, and then you've got the other arm here, which as you can see on mine sort of pops off every now and again, and that you just want to fold out his fist on that one, plug it back in. If like on mine it's popped off, this piece comes off like that, and then you've got a couple of features on him. So let's get him set. So he's got this weapon here, which if you pull that down, he's got this kind of dagger. So I guess you can have it like that, or you can have it forward like that. It does actually come out, but so you can hold it in his hand if you like. I think it's quite cool that you can just kind of have it forward like that or like that. As just a bit of a threat, make him look a bit mean. And then this arm here, again, you can hold something in this kind of weird sort of like hand in there. But then if you press this, he's got this claw hand which extends out. And yeah, it's a pretty neat feature. This bit rotates around and moves up and down. These claw pieces open all the way up like that, and all the way in like that, so you can grab things with those, and then you can pull it back in like that. Yeah, it's a nice figure, really cool, good looking figure. The head sculpt is great. Articulation is a little bit limited, but not too bad. So the head actually rotates all the way around, but you don't get any up or down. The sculpt is really nice. The green paint looks fantastic. I love that. The kind of choice they've gone for is very Japanese, but I really like it. Silver paint across here, brown on here. Lovely. Really well done. The arm sort of rotates around. You can move it in and out here. So it's a fair bit of movement that you can get in it, and obviously you can extend the arm by pressing the button on the side. This one's a little bit more limited because you've got all the sort of junk around it, but you can get it all the way around. And the arm moves up to there and down and kind of rotate around in that ball socket, and it can move also side to side there as well. And it looks as if you've got, I don't know if you can potentially peg anything into these, but you can obviously hold weapons in his hand, and the hands can also rotate around. I'm not sure if you get waist articulation in this guy. You do get waist articulation, so, and that can go pretty much all the way around. It's just you have to move these bits at the back here. I think, although that's a backpack, I think it kind of, you know, it kind of suits it quite well. You know, it's all kind of a mix between the animal and the robot. You know, you've got your animal parts, your robot parts. I think it works well. These bits can fold out to see the maximal symbol underneath, and there's some paint underneath here, but you can still make out the symbol from underneath there, which is nice. Sorry, I got cut off while I was doing that, but yeah, I was just showing the maximal symbol there. But in terms of articulation on the legs, I think I've gone through the waist. The legs actually can go all the way up, so you get a real good range of motion there. Back all the way to there and out to there. Obviously, you have to move the sort of hip skirts out of the way. The knees bend all the way back to there, so really good. These bits do move forward and back, but you know, you'd have to kind of move this bit with it really. which is a little bit limited, but there's no tilt, but you can still get him in a fairly wide stance. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's move this bit out of the way. Generally holds together pretty well, I think. You know, considering the age of him and everything else like that. And he stands up very nice as well. It's just a quite, you know, good looking figure, I think. And then obviously you can put the missiles in the back here. If I put them in the right way, like that. And like that. And then I guess you can fire them off. I don't know. The trouble is you'd have to fire them off to someone behind you. You can't really rotate them round so they're moving forward, really. Yeah. But he's a pretty cool looking bot, I'd have to say. In terms of a size comparison, I've got Optimus Primal here, so I'll just bring him in very quickly. Oh. So he actually scales pretty well with the newer figures. So Optimus not standing very well at the moment. Stand. There you go. See those two alongside each other. And I don't know if it's me, I just think they look quite well together. You know, it doesn't look... I think this guy's, you know, aged really well. And, you know, here's kind of rat trap. So I think the size works for this guy. And, you know, people that are getting into Kingdom, I think I'd really encourage people to take a look at some of these older Beast Wars figures. Ones that, you know, Longrack, I don't think we're going to get a Kingdom version of him or a version moving forward. I know we've had other versions of Longrack, terms like from Cybertron and things like that, but not like a Beast Wars one like this. I think you know, it's well worth going back and kind of exploring some of these older toys, just seeing really, you know, how good they are. I think this guy's, you know, really good for the time, and just a neat transformer. I will show you the the kind of vehicle mode just to finish things off, and see what you think from there. But yeah, and then we'll go to our schools and doors. So here we go. This is the, I don't know what to call it, mode. This is supposed to be the kind of third mode. It is listed in the instructions. Obviously it's in Japanese. I've got no idea or what it's saying and what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be kind of like a battle station or a vehicle mode. You've certainly got wheels down here at the bottom, so maybe it's supposed to go along like that, and it's supposed to be like a tank sort of thing. But you do have the couple of missiles at the front, and this bit here, obviously the grapple thing, which can push in and out. This bit can move around, so in instructions it shows you that the arm moves over here, so potentially you can grab someone round here. And you know, that's all it really shows you in the instructions in terms of getting it to that place. Really, it's fairly self-explanatory. I didn't think it was worth putting it in as part of the review, but if people are interested in seeing how you get to that, I can always do a separate review or separate small video just to show that if you want. But yeah, essentially that's it. I can't see anyone displaying it in this mode or using it. I guess it's quite cool. I mean, it is pretty much, I don't know if you even call it a fan mode, but it is listed in the instructions. The other interesting thing I thought I'd show you in the instructions is they actually show it with the arm round the other way, but all the pictures that I can see have the arm around the other way, which you can get it to this configuration just by rotating the waist around, but it makes more sense to have it the way that I showed it, because you've got the spark then at the front rather than at the back. Yeah, so that's it. And just to show you, obviously, you can obviously hold that dagger in either hand as well. Yeah, so that's that. What we'll do now is do a bit of a summary and do our scores on the doors. Right then, scores on the doors. As you can see, I've put in a couple of his friends here, which are the ones I mentioned that you can hold as a gun, so potentially ones for another time. So the scores on the doors, articulation, 8 out of 10. Very good, especially for the time. You know, would have been even better if you'd had like an ankle tilt or some extra bits, you know, for that movement on the head. But, you know, this figure, it's an old figure now, but for its time, I think the articulation is absolutely excellent. Transformation, I've downscored it a little bit. I put a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. You know, everything lines up really well in beast mode, but it can be challenging kind of getting it to that mode. It's not obvious where everything goes, so it's a little bit challenging in that aspect, but you do have to kind of fiddle around with everything just to work out where everything needs to go. Accessories, 6 out of 10. Maybe that's a little bit harsh, but he only comes with those couple of missiles which can easily be lost, and then the figure doesn't quite look right, especially in beast mode if you've lost those things. There are some really cool gimmicks. You know, I love the claw and the dagger, you know, and the spark crystal. You can move that over and see that. I really love those kind of bits to it. The paint on the figure is really good. I've given that an 8 out of 10. I think it's excellent. I love all the spots on the figure. They're done really well. They look great. I love all the colour choices and the paint apps they've used, you know, for the face and in and around the figure. I think they look excellent. What other bits have we got? Bills, yeah, 7 out of 10. Feels pretty solid. Plastic has got a good feel to it. It's an old figure, but I know I've had it sort of hidden away and everything, but it's kept up really nicely. So it's preserved well. The only thing nitpick is maybe on the arms, they're a little bit loose. And that's just a thing like over time where it's got a little bit loose. So perhaps a bit harsh on that. X Factor though, 9 out of 10. I mean, I got to give it a high score. I mean, it's a transforming giraffe. You know, how crazy is that? I love these Japanese toys. You know, I think the spark crystal are awesome. I love that as a gimmick. I think it looks great. I just wish that, you know, all these Japanese figures, there was more information, or there was an English version of those Japanese ones. I know you can get like the dubbed versions of it. It doesn't quite translate as well, but I'd love to see this figure and other Japanese figures in more of the kind of US and UK kind of comics, or more stories around those figures. Price, I've given an 8 out of 10. You know, Beast Wars actually, even, you know, on the aftermarket, they're pretty reasonable. And this one isn't a particularly rare one. It's available as a single figure or in a 2-pack. So you kind of got 2 opportunities there to pick it up. It's well worth getting the 2-pack because the Predacon figure is equally as good. Potentially we'll take a look at that one in another review. Officially, the overall rating on this figure, I've given it a 7 out of 10. That's kind of going through all the averages. It does feel a little bit harsh. I feel like it's an 8 out of 10 figure, to be honest with you. It's, you know, it's such a cool looking toy. It's aged really well. It doesn't look out of place with the War for Cybertron Kingdom figure toys. It seems to fit right in. Yeah, I think it looks absolutely brilliant. If you've enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That's it for now, guys. Just let me know what you think in the comments below and who you'd like to see next as well. And until next time, stay healthy, stay connected.